learn to draw your favorite Disney character?
Oh, they still do that here.
Should we go in there?
This is where the Animation Academy is, meet and greets, Turtle Talk with Crush, and the Sorcerer's Workshop. Once upon a time. Oh, this looks cool in here. Do the Anna and Elsa meet and greet. So we're going to get to draw something. We don't know what yet. It starts at 8:30 and lasts 15 to 20 minutes. So this ought to be fun. We haven't done this in quite a few years. It was at Disney World the last time we did it.
Hi, we're at the Animation Academy tonight, and we're going to be doing some drawing of some kind of a Disney character. We're not sure what we're going to do, but there's the piece of paper that we get to do it on.
Nice big piece of paper. Yeah. We can draw big.
And you have rubber bands, so we can like roll it up and put it in your backpack.
Yeah, I'm not a good drawer at all, so I hope we have a good instructor. I'm gonna need it. We're going in now. These were drawn by people that know how to draw, not by somebody like me. And these are our boards to put our paper on, and a lead pencil.
Here in my light green. If you guys want to come a little bit closer. If you've got a larger party, red row is most likely going to be your best
bet. It's a big theater.
That one has the most space. But if you guys don't mind coming down a little bit closer, we can get you in that lime green. We have 2 more spots in my yellow. We got lots of single riders as well at the ends of the rows. If you don't mind sitting there. You can put that stack of paper up here next to Forky, or up a row or down a row. That's totally fine as well. Forky does not mind the company. All right. The drugstores are going to be closing up real soon. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Okay, this half of my class is doing good. The rest of you guys are kind of low energy. It's okay. We know. Churro pick-me-ups are always out there. We have birthdays? Yes, right here. Nice. Well, happy birthday to you guys and happy unbirthday to the rest of you. But before we get started here, I'd like to introduce myself. I want to do some safety, go over some safety things here real quick before we get started. Now, my name is Sandra, and I'm going to be the Disney artist here to teach you guys how to draw a very special character. And anybody know who we're here to draw? I met my friend Gio at the top of the stairs there. Everyone say hello, Gio.
Hello, Gio.
Beautiful. Now, Gio is an amazing Disney artist. He's here to help you guys out. Say you break a pencil, or you just need that crisp high five. Raise your hand nice and high. He'll come by and help you out as best as he can. You got takers up here, Gio. But he's up there to show you guys your exit route if you do need to leave the class at any time. Go ahead and look up at Gio. Now he's going to push open that far right-hand side door, and he's gone forever. Dang. So if you do have questions, don't raise your hands. It's just me and all of... Oh, look at that. He's back. Okay, you're good. Go ahead and raise your hand. But if you do need to leave at any time, you're going to push open that far right-hand side door, maybe a little bit less dramatically, and then exit that way. For that all-important churro emergency, I totally get it. Anybody here for the very first time? We've never taken a class here before. Okay, a few of you guys. Well, welcome to my new students here and all my returning alumni. Good to see you guys back. For my new students, though, you may notice you are missing erasers at the ends of your pencils, and that's on purpose. What we actually do in this class is we draw in a rough sketch manner, which means we're going to build up our drawing with messy and sketchy lines. And what we try to do is keep those lines very light as we get going with our drawing, so we can build up our drawing, build up our confidence, pick lines we like, and go back to darken those lines in. So let's go ahead and get started here with Remy, and I will let you guys know when to draw dark, but until then, draw nice and light. Now, Remy starts off with a circle in the center of your page. Now, easiest way to draw circles is lock your wrist, lock your elbow, and use the rotation of your whole shoulder. Your whole shoulder kind of makes that naturally circular motion, and it turns your drawing a little bit more fluid. If you're using your wrist, it's more constricted movements. You won't get as nice and as flowy lines. So try and use your whole shoulder. So we've got a few lines here for our circle. I can't build a perfect circle, so I've got a lot of circles on my page. What I'm going to do next, though, is I'm going to divide my circle from left to right, but not in the middle, just a little bit below middle here. And I'm actually extending this line a little bit out here to my left-hand side. Now, this line here should equal another circle. So about the size of this circle, that's how far out you want to go. So we're going out pretty far. Once we've got that big horizontal line in place, though, what we're going to do next is add a very, very wide letter U. Now, this letter U here is going to come back on inside of our circle here, where is not really that big of an issue as long as it does go back inside of your circle. So we've got ourselves maybe a big lemon wedge and a circle. Got ourselves our still life, it's beautiful. But now that we've got this here, what we want to do is drop down a big letter C. Now this letter C here isn't going to be as long or as wide as our big letter U here. We're just dropping it straight on down here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the point of that letter C and bring up another letter C. So now we've got, anybody know what we're looking at right now? A smile, yeah, nice big smile here for Remy. Now we've got his nose, you're not wrong, yeah, we are looking at a rat, at the beginning stages of a rat. Yeah, a lot of times people will call him a mouse, but he is not, he's a rat. As you can tell, rats have a much larger snout than mice, so there is definitely a distinction there. So now that we've got our big smile here for Remy, what we want to do next is add in his neck. So what I'm going to do is draw what looks like a very kind of tall and wide candy cane curve here, or a rainbow curve. That's about his neck here. We're dropping it right on down. What we're going to do next here is kind of just finish off his smile and then start working on the top half of his head. Now his smile here, we want to cap it off with a little smile line, which is a little rainbow here to really exaggerate your character's smile. All of our animated characters are meant to have extremely exaggerated expressions so that way the audience can read how they're feeling instantly and immediately. You don't want your audience guessing as to how your character feels. So adding a smile line at the end of a smile might be a simple thing, but it really helps in the long run. You can see here I'm also darkening up that big letter C that I drew, as well as that letter U here, just right where his smile is. Now this right here is called locking in your line work, and I only do this with lines I'm feeling confident about, lines that are my favorite, the ones that I like the most. So I'm not going to darken up or lock in any other lines for right now. What we're going to do next is add in a tongue here for Remy. Now his tongue is another letter C here, kind of just hiding or peeking out slightly from the inside of that little pizza slice that we created. What we want to do next is also add in a little tooth here for Remy. Now when he's got his mouth open, you can absolutely see it. And Emil here has it maybe a little bit more noticeable. We got ourselves a cute little statue right here, so if you guys get lost, you can always reference our live models. But Remy here, you can't quite see his tooth since his mouth is closed, but rats do have those sharp two front teeth to help them gnaw through a lot of things. You guys want a quick list of things that rats can gnaw through?
Yes.
Okay, wood, concrete, some types of metal, so you're not safe in your house. I don't know, like double check, maybe like do like a quick inspection, because rats are very smart, but also very strong. So just like a real quick run through thing. So I'm locking in his tooth here as well, that little rectangle shape here that we just drew, and that we can move on up to working on the rest of his features. One thing I do want to add in is his nose here at the end of his snout so that we can finish locking in the rest of that letter U. Now his nose is going to be about the size of a grape or an olive, and it points down just a little bit as our live model here. When we go to lock it in though, we are going to lock in the full oval here, not just maybe like a letter C on the outside of his snout. So I'm going to lock in his nose here really quick, and then we can finish off locking in the rest of his snout here. Just the bottom half though, because because we are going to add a little bit more to the top of his snout. Now, if you've already locked in the top of his snout, that's totally fine. What we can do next is add in more lines, make them much darker, and we are going to add a little bit of shading to his fur since he is a gray rat. So say you definitely wanted to lock something else in, but you accidentally locked something that you didn't want in. That's okay, we'll shade over it and it'll act like nothing ever happened. Now, to add in the top here of his snout, what I'm doing is adding in this slightly diagonal line. It's not quite horizontal here, it's sitting at a little bit of an angle. Now this right here adds a little bit more kind of like width to his nose, and when we connect it back to his head here, we actually add a little dip closer to the very end of his nose. It's almost like a little wedge of cheese here. But now that we've got that little dip here in place, we can follow the curve of his head all the way up and out to add in his eyebrow like ridge here. His eyebrow ridge is that big letter C that I just drew, and then I'm going to draw half a rainbow curve to connect it back on inside of his head here. And now you've got yourself a very excited looking rat. What we want to do next is add in his ear so we can finish off his silhouette. Now his ear here is again just kind of following the curve here of my circle and going to from the very top here and then bringing down another slightly diagonal line. And this line right here at the end, I'm going to start drawing in another big letter U. And now you've got yourself another lemon wedge or apple slice or orange slice. Whatever your kind of favorite fruit is, really. It's not a banana slice. It can't be, unless you cut your banana in half. Then we're going to go in here and just add in the back of his neck, which is just completing that same rainbow curve just a little bit higher. Now that we've got ourselves a silhouette here for Remy, we can hop on into facial features, really. I'm going to lock in the top of his snout here, making sure that that is nice and dark and it stands out. And then we can get on into facial features. And the very first facial feature I'm going to add, or I guess technically the only other facial feature I haven't added yet, is going to be his eye. Now his eye is going to be very, very large, because all of our more friendlier characters will have the larger eyes, because it makes them look a lot cuter. More of our villainous characters are the ones that have maybe more like tiny eyes, because it just kind of gives them a little bit more of a creepier vibe. So a nice big eye in here for Remy. I'm going to go from this horizontal line here that I've drawn in, and again draw a very wide letter C here. Once we've got a pretty tall looking letter C, we're going to close off the top of his eye with half a rainbow curve here. You can see here I've stopped in about the middle of where the letter C is, and then I'm going to go from the bottom of my letter C and pull up to connect to the very corner here, another big letter U. And now you've got yourself a very large and very wide eye here. Now this film, Ratatouille, when the artist team and directors were kind of working on ideas for the film, they actually went location scouting. They went to Paris, France, and they spent a lot of their days kind of learning about food and cooking, as well as taking classes and just trying food from very, very fancy restaurants, multiple course meals, but all of this they did at night. Now during the daytime, they actually spent their days in the sewers of France. Now unfortunately, that's probably not the best way to spend your time when you're in France, but they really needed to learn what life as a rat would have been like there. So they did spend maybe a good amount of time down in the sewers. Now I personally wouldn't do that for my vacations, but technically they aren't really vacations. These are research trips. Artists will spend lots and lots of hours drawing scenery as well as people just to really get an understanding of the place that they are kind of recreating in their films. That's technically, a lot of times we joke here that these research trips are kind of like free vacations, but definitely they're doing a lot of work. Now we're going to go in here and add a very big eye here for Remy. I like to have his eye kind of popping outside of his head here just a little bit. As this is a side profile, you're going to have a little bit of that eye popping out just to emphasize the direction that he's looking. Now I'm adding in an oval for his eye, but you can draw in a heart or a star if maybe he's your favorite character. Maybe you want to draw in some Ratatouille in there, or maybe just a block of cheese. That would be a really, really cute addition for his eye. I'm going to stick with the oval here, and then I can finish off locking in the rest of his head shape. Now I'm going to lock in the curve here of his head as well as his ear. But as we're locking in his ear here, we do want to kind of divide his ear up into two. We want to give him an inner and an outer ear. Now to do that, we're going to go back down here to the very end of his ear and add another letter U. Now this letter U technically connects to the bottom of the first letter U that we drew. So we're just kind of adding in two little bits here to the end of his ear. When we go to lock it in, I like to kind of pretend that this first one is a rainbow. And then the end one here is just a big letter C. And there you go, you've got yourself an inner and an outer ear here for Remy. I'm going to go all the way back in here towards his head to lock that line in. And then don't forget about the back of his neck here as well as the front. Just make sure to lock that in. Now what is our Remy missing? Whiskers for sure, but he is what? What is his profession? He's a chef. Yeah, he's missing his chef's hat. Yeah. We're going to add in those whiskers here now just so that we can definitely finish off his face just by adding 3 little flicks to your pencil. And for his chef's hat, I like to kind of rest it a little bit further back on his head. And we're going to start off with, again, 2 slightly diagonal lines here. You can definitely have his hat resting on his ear since we don't have too much forehead showing. And then for the very top of the hat, we'll just connect those 2 diagonal lines with a big rainbow curve. Now, chef hats are usually pleated here in the middle, so there's a fold that we've got to add. So another big rainbow curve here, a little bit lower down. And it is also pleated in the top portion. Now, I've heard from different sources that these little pleats mean different things. Now, some people have said that it is a distinction of how many types of eggs that you can make. Now, Remy here, he only has 3 little folds, or we only add 3 little folds. So you can definitely add more folds to your Remy's hat if you feel like he would probably be an expert chef and he knows how to make more than 3 different types of eggs. Anybody here a chef and know what those pleats mean? Okay, so we're gonna say it's eggs. Yeah, absolutely. You tell your friends that, and if they tell you otherwise, I didn't tell you how to do that, okay. Anyways, so now that we've added in those pleats there to the top of his hat, you can take a second to shade in his fur here as he is that gray color. I like to tip my pencil here off to the right-hand side, left-hand side, whatever side you're using, and then just kind of add a little bit of tone here to your drawing. Once you've done that, though, the most important mark an artist needs to leave on their page is going to be your artist's signature. So find a spot and sign your name big and proud, because you guys have just drawn your very own portrait of Remy. So how'd you guys do? Yeah, okay, some people are doing great. Some of you guys are stunned silent by how amazing your artwork came out. Yeah, all right. Well, most important question, did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing when we are creating artwork, is to have fun here with us. Well, I'd love to see all of your guys' drawings, as we usually end off with an art show. So count to 3, you flip your boards, and don't be afraid to take a look around. Everyone's got a unique art style. Ready? 1, 2, 3, Remy, let's see him. Very nice and big here in my second row. I love all of these eyes. Great smiles over here. Proportions are spot on in the middle. I love his nose over here as well. You guys did really, really good with the proportions all around. You guys are hardworking in my first row. Great job here with the chef's hat. Very nice and cute smile here in the back. Nice dark line work. Very nice shading. Very, very cute, you guys. Give yourselves a big round of applause for a job well done. Those are so cute. Now those drawings are for you guys to keep, so take them off the board and take them home with you. And you guys are all graduates. You can join us anytime again. But for this class, you guys are dismissed. Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you.
Alrighty, everybody, let's give Sandra a great big round of applause.
Yeah, that looks good.
Exit on out.
I like yours.